Well, you've heard of snakes on a plane, but what about snakes on a tinny?
It is the real-life thriller experienced by one Victorian fisherman who faced off with a deadly tiger snake for 30 minutes, discovering the slippery stowaway when he was 11 k's from shore.
Oh.
Fisherman Bob Thatcher survived to tell the tale, and he joins us now alongside snake catcher Baden from Sale in Victoria. Guys, so nice to see both of you. Now, Bob, just remember we're on breakfast television here, OK? But what was the first thing you said when you saw that snake?
Golly gosh, I better not tell you what I exactly said, but it was quite frightening when I turned around and looked on the floor and there was a snake about 30 centimetres from my feet.
Oh, man.
And I didn't know what to do, so I just stood stock still and watched the snake, and it was flicking its tongue out, I suppose, getting a bit of a scent, and it did that for a couple of minutes, and then it turned around on itself and went down to the left-hand side of the boat in amongst some tackle that I had on board, and then continued to slither around down in there for a little while. And I didn't know what to do, thought fairly seriously, and thought, well, I've got to get back to the boat ramp somehow or another. It was no good. I was only 100 yards off the shore on the other side of the lake, and I thought it was no good getting out of the boat because the snake's still in there, and I've got the only way I can get home is get back in the boat. So I thought, oh, well, I've got to head back for shore, and then I've got to get past where I am, get past the snake and get up to pull the anchor up. So that was a little bit of an exercise also, because the snake started to slither across to the right-hand side of the boat where I didn't want him. So I threw my jumper at it, and that caused it to turn around and go back into where it was on the left-hand side of the boat. And whilst it was slithering around, I was able to go up and pull the anchor up and get back to my seat at the back of the boat and start getting going a little bit. So then I thought, well, I better make some phone calls and see what I can do. So I rang my wife and got no answer, and I rang one of my sons and he got no answer from him. My other son was driving a school bus, so that was the end of that. So eventually the number one son rang me back and said, what's going on? I've had all these missed calls. So I told him what the predicament was and asked him if he could try and chase up a snake catcher in Sale and meet me down at the ramp and see if we can get this blessed snake out. So I started heading back, and about 5 minutes later, Dean rang me back and said that he'd caught up with a snake catcher and that he was on his way down to meet me at the boat ramp. So I was able to get going fairly well. The lake was fairly calm, so I was able to make fairly good headway. And I just got to the boat ramp as the snake catcher turned up, Langdon, and then from then on it was his job to get the snake out. Wow. And I was a lot relieved, so I got out of the boat fairly quickly, I can believe. Yeah, so,
wow.
Yeah, boy.
So
that's his story. The rest of it is his story now.
And then what happened?
Baden, this is where you step in, my friend.
Well, yeah, this is where Baden's job, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got there, sort of, had it just poking sort of 6 inches out of a hole, sort of where his fuel tank is. And, sort of every time it'd poke out, I'd go to grab it, it'd go back in its hole. So sort of, probably after an hour or so, we decided we'd put it back on the trailer and actually take it to Bob's, where we could put a garden hose in and try and fill that area with a bit of water where the snake was. But, as we put it on the trailer, it come out and, was able to jump in and grab it pretty quickly.
It's not an easy situation. I mean, this is not James Packer's dinghy. This is a tiny dinghy, this one. And there's not a lot of places to move and to get away from this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was, quite close quarters.
And they can be pretty dangerous, these things.
Fairly frightening to see it in.
Yes. Well, they're in top 10 of the world's most venomous, so not one you really want to play around with.
Hey, Bob, did you know what type of snake it was when you first spotted it?
Yes, I could recognise it quite clearly. You could see the stripes on it, and I'd seen tiger snakes before, so I think it was fairly easy to recognise. But it was 3'6" long. It was an interesting little animal. I wouldn't like to have another one in the boat. One's enough. I was glad to get out of the boat anyway.
It's like when you're in a car and you bring down the rear vision mirror or something, and a spider drops out. There's nowhere to go. I mean, what a tale!
You cannot compare a spider dropping to having a deadly snake.
Have you had a spider
boat.
drop on you in a car?
Yeah, fine with it.
Oh yeah. You're tough though. I'm not.
Hey Bob, have you forgiven your family yet for not picking up the phone when you rang them?
Oh yes, they all had good reasons, so there's no problems about that. But yeah, it was an interesting exercise.
Good on you, mate. Good. It's good
I don't
to
want to go through it again.
No, I'd be living in fear for the rest of my life. I wouldn't be going on that tinny again. Good on you, Bobby, and good on you, Baden. We're happy it all turned out well, and happy fishing next time.
Thanks, guys.